So, hey, listeners, hope you're doing well. This is actually our first video podcast for Spotify exclusively. This is a catch up interview with author, writer, producer, maker Jill Korn. And I'm really happy to have you on the show, Jill, again.
It's great to be here. Thank you for asking me.
Okay, so this is particularly the catch up interview, story behind the story thing for Ghost of, I forgot, Ghost of, just help me out, Craufurdland, right?
Craufardland, that's right.
Yes, Ghost of Craufurdland Castle. This particular thing was known as Dear Ghost Craufurdland when it was Jill's drama. Then we got it in here. We thought that what kind of title which will interest you to tap and click on it. And so we got it changed to Ghost of Craufurdland Castle. And you've heard it. This interview goes after the release. So this is story behind the story. I don't want to take much of your time. Let's hit the question. Jill, please share what was the story behind the story, the reason, the thought, the motivation. Please share everything about it.
Okay. As you know, or you already know, I live in Scotland. And in Scotland, we are surrounded by ancient castles, beautiful castles. Some of them are in ruins and some of them are restored. And I'm lucky enough to live near two castles, one of which is called Dean Castle, which
Okay.
is publicly owned.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is Craufardland Castle, which is still privately owned by a family who have owned it for 2,000 years.
Oh
And
God.
it's amazing. It is amazing.
Yep.
And the current laird and lady
Mm-hmm.
run the castle as a business, and in their restaurant they have a family tree which shows 2,000 years of the family owning this land. Not the
Wow.
castle so much. The castle's more modern, but they've owned the lands and the estate for 2,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I got talking to the laird, which means landowner. Laird means landowner in
Yeah, yeah,
Scotland.
yeah,
Really,
yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
it's a
Thank you
title.
for explaining that word.
And he's a fantastic storyteller, and he had all these wonderful stories about his family in the past that have been
Mm-hmm.
handed down.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of caught up in this whole idea. And when I came to write the Ayrshire trilogy, I went back to the Laird and said, okay, which of these stories shall we pick? Because there are so many of
Okay.
them. What should we pick? And that was really how we came to tell the story of both the Dean Castle and Craufardland Castle in one play.
Okay. Wow, this is amazing. That this is specifically did a year ago. This whole drama thing. So this research was really amazing because Creative Scotland was involved and a very beautiful and very workaholic and very talented team was involved in this project. In all of your Ayrshire trilogy, this is the last audio drama in the Ayrshire trilogy, The Coast of Craufurdland Castle. And now, Jill, please tell me more about that diary that you mentioned in the whole description thing, that
Yeah.
your research part. Please tell us about
Yeah.
Janet's diary, Janet Craufurd. She
Okay.
is the one who is the lead, and it's actually the real diary she's talking about. So tell me more. Oh my
This is
God! Actually,
real.
it got blacked out because of the this is wow. Okay, so
Okay.
is this for real? Like, is this
Yeah.
distributed or only you have it?
Oh, only I have it. At the moment, I have it. It belongs to the Laird and Lady of Craufurdland. It's
Whoa.
an ancestor of theirs, a young woman who was early married to the then Laird in
Mm-hmm.
102, something like that. And she started to write her diary in 1808.
Mm-hmm.
And her everyday life is recorded in this diary. It's quite hard to read because her writing is very
Yeah,
small.
yeah, I saw it. I saw it. I
But
can't
in
even read
places,
it.
it's very funny. It's a picture of her life, and it's a picture of how she and her husband set about to restore the castle, because at that time it had been very much neglected. And
Yep.
her story links back to the story of the two men who a century earlier were involved in a friendship, which which led to the execution of one and
Yeah.
the ostracization of the other. Really, yeah, yeah.
Yep. Awesome. So I'm shocked at this moment that you have the diary. And who gave you this diary?
The Laird of Craufardland. I've got
Okay.
papers. I've got papers on my bookshelf all
Awesome.
around this whole business, or things that I thought might be useful. I'm going to have to give them back. I'll have to give them
Oh,
back.
yeah, I know that. Okay. So I'm coming on the next question, as we have permission before making it or after making it. What was that permission thing which we like? There's a permission required because it's actually talking about the real places, real time period, going back, snatching out the history. So what was the permission thing before or after?
Okay. It was before, so
Okay.
we talked about over coffee about what would be a good story, and went to the castle, and the Laird took out all the papers, and I went through all the papers and brought some of them home with me. So we
Mm-hmm.
very much were working together. It was very much having his permission. But what's
Wow.
kind of interesting is that it was a hard play to write. It was a difficult play to write, much harder than the other two plays in the trilogy.
Yep.
I couldn't work out how to weave together the two stories, because there are two stories going on here. There's Janet, and then there's John Walkinshaw Craufurd.
Yeah.
So it took me a long time to work those stories out. And the ghost is an invention of mine.
Yeah.
Because as far as we know, Craufardland Castle is not haunted by a ghost.
Yes.
Dean Castle is, the other castle is, but Craufardland is not haunted by a ghost. So
What?
that was my way of putting the two stories together, if you like.
Okay. Awesome. So they also knew that this will be a fiction kind of thing. So you will be taking a liberty of putting in the ghost thing. So that will interest, and it shows. Even when I listen to it, this is the first time I like completely listened to 54.09 seconds. 54 minutes 09 seconds. I know the number. That's why I put out a reel and the story yesterday. This is like it really happens to me that I get hooked into something because the screenplay, what we can say in this thing, was really, and the music by David Simpson, everything by the whole team, like big shout out to the whole team. It wasn't really like amazingly beautifully everything, like it was just like watching any movie. That's what I want on the show to happen. When people listen to the castle, the ghost of the Craufardland Castle, they should feel that they are like completely off for 54 minutes, and they are completely listening into it. And yeah, that's the thing I had in mind, and it was really awesome. The
Thank you.
one thing I really loved about it is the birth is happening, the child's birth is happening, and at the same time the other thing is happening, and there's a swap in between. And it's actually that you should be very keen and very like in that moment when you're listening, so you can see that visibly happening, the swap, the fade and the change in the scene that we see in the movies. It's done in the audio field. So that's the one thing that I really liked about, like there's a change and the child thing, because it is like not a normal audio drama. It's the real thing. It's not a normal audio drama. It's kind of a movie making thing that you did.
Yes, I think it
Yep,
is.
everything, right from the writing, right from the dialogues, right from the making, the point of view of making, and point of view of audience thought what will be it. It was driven by that. So I really appreciate your all hard work that you put in
Oh,
throughout
thank you.
the whole thing. So yeah, so just moving on to the next question that I'm really interested about. You shared the whole thing with me on the mail, that this was a thing, inputs, pointers and everything. One point I want to highlight, that the current lady and the Laird of the Craufurdland Castle loved it. So
Did.
just I know when something which is like, if Jill Con is some person, and after 100 years people are writing on Jill Con, and your grandchildren's and like blah 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 are actually going to it's like digging up their history. And now it's very challenging, like people raise questions, hey, what you did, what did happen, this is not right, this is something related to history, specific to
Mm.
this country's history.
Yes.
Like big films are made, and when films are made and liberty is taken, that's where the question arises. People may change the point of view of things happening just for making people engaging and doing that. That's why I was really focusing on that particular brand. A current lady and really loved it. I just want to know, what was that moment? Just share the moment with us.
It when I wrote it, it was difficult to write, as I said, and I didn't show it to anybody. I didn't show it to the Laird and Lady. We went ahead and recorded it without them seeing the script at all. So I knew that parts of this were absolutely true. I had looked at documents, I'd used Janet's diary, I'd used other documents that I'd found in libraries everywhere. But I knew that I'd made up part of it. And when it was finished, I sent it off to them by email, and I waited for a few days. Now, they're really busy people. They run several businesses. They run a restaurant. They run the castle. Really busy. But I didn't hear anything for a few days. And then finally, I got an email saying, we've made time to listen to this and we love it.
Wow.
And it was like,
wow.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness for that.
So to all the listeners, this is like the whole production is done, right? The whole, like the recording, the background music, the sync in, everything is done. The 54-minute clip is ready. And then you're sending that clip via mail. And then, the whole thing, it takes a lot of efforts to create a clip and do it and tag people on it, on board, do this because it's a lot of work, because it's a big team. It's not just sitting in a room and doing it, and then it's not that. It's a big people and big team thing that's going on. Writing work is involved. And when it is done in a 54-minute clip and it's sent to you via mail, and after it takes 5 days, 5 big days. It's like 1 hour is big thing for me, when it comes to permissions and things. And what if they decline? What if they say, oh, what you did? Oh, what, this is not thing, like, it is like heartbeats. And I really see in your eyes now at this moment, like, that was the thing that clicked. And I'm really happy to present this play audio drama via our show. Thank you for sharing that particular moment. I hope you get this moment regularly, do bigger things, like do this kind of things on a regular basis, and get more dramas like this on board, on chillcon.com, on chillcon specials on the show. So yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we just move on to the next question, which is, who's your favorite character from this whole audio drama thing? Which one is your favorite character?
That's really difficult, isn't it?
Yep.
I suppose it has to be Janet.
Oh,
it has to be Janet, because when you read this diary, I can hear her voice coming through. And there are parts of the play that have been taken directly from the diary. So, for example, when she hears that there are intruders on her lawn and there are no men around, so she's just got one of her friends with her, she takes a shotgun and she fires it out of the window and frightens away the intruders. Now, for a woman in the 19th century to do that is quite something, for a young woman to say, well, I'm going to frighten you away. And that's in the diary. That's actually in the diary. So I think she's my favorite person, although, I love all the other characters as well. I can't help it.
Yeah. Awesome. My favorite character is the ghost, what I can say, because you choose Janet. So but the thing is, like, just representation of ghost in the story, it taking a liberty and then showing a ghost and doing things that uh, it's done by the people, but to giving it a motive and to giving it what was the thing involved, and just not saying that okay, this was the reason, that's why he's here. Finding
Mm.
out that, finding out the friendship, he was in King's army, and then he was friend to the enemy, which who were they
Yeah.
fighting. And he just did what he did, just did his duties, and then he just did his what we say, the part we do in the friendship. He
Yeah.
just did his duties, and for that particular reason he was demoted, and he was what we say, he was not uh, like for that particular reason he was like thrown out of his family, and that was the same reason he gave out his property.
Yeah.
So that reason actually really connected, and really, okay, so this was the thing, okay, so that's why he didn't want to harm anyone. And she noticed
No.
that within like 2 3 instances, he noticed that he's there, just he is not happy with what's happened. So,
Yeah.
the reason behind the ghost getting into the scene was really awesome. The way you planted it and the way you showcased it, every single detail uh, are really like worth listening all single time. Like, and this is the best part. Winter is going on, so you can just get into the sweater, get into that thing in the night, get your blanket on, put your headphones, and listen the ghost of Craufardland Castle. So wow.
Uh, I hope everyone enjoys it. I mean, I have to say as well, that the production team were absolutely amazing. And so a lot of the impact of the story is going to come through the sound effects and
Yes,
obviously
yes.
the actors. Yeah.
Yep, yep. So here goes the shout out to the whole cast. First, we have Carrie Burley, who plays Janet, Lady of Craufurland. Then Lorenzo Novani, who's also known as Magician Renz on Facebook and Instagram, plays William, Laird of Craufurland. Kirsten McGuire as Crawford Keith, Keith, Keith Crawford. Alex Bennett plays John Walkinshaw Crawford, JWC, the guy, the ghost, and young Crawford. Uh, Ewan Galbraith plays William, Earl of Kilmarnock, and young Kilmarnock. Uh, Ian McKelsey, right? Ian McKelsey.
Achilles.
McAleese. I was just confused. I googled that particular thing. I just found the pronunciation. I still missed it. Uh, he plays Thomas Curtis, right?
Thomas Coates. Yeah, he does.
Coots,
Yeah.
Coots, Coots. So I'm really new to this name. To all the listeners, this is not never
These,
announced, never
these
used
are
by me.
strange Scottish names. I'm sure
Yeah.
I'd have a problem with your names too.
Yep, yes, yes, yes. Dean Castle servant, which is also played by Lorenzo Novani. So the cast just repeated some small
Yeah.
parts in the whole story, which was Dean Castle Girl by Kirsten McGuire. Dean Castle Woman was Diane Brooks. She was highlighted as nurse on all social media posters
That's
that
right.
you've been seeing. Tower of London Guard, uh, Ian McLeese, if I'm right.
Yeah.
Yeah, executioner was same Ian McLeese. Big shout out to the production team, our director, maker, producer, whole one man army, Jill Corn. She is in front of you. Sound design by Alex Bennett. Sound recording by David Simpson. Original music composer and producer David Simpson. Violin by Philip Smith. So a big salute and thank you to the whole team for producing this kind of drama. Yep. Thank you so much. Any last thought that you would like to share about anything that you want to share?
I just want to thank you for featuring the Ayrshire trilogy. It's been a huge amount of work for me. It's taken me over a year. It's not
Yes.
really finished yet. And it's just marvelous to have it shared so widely across such a huge audience. So yeah, I'm really thrilled, really thrilled.
Awesome, awesome. So this was our first Spotify video interview thing, more will be loading because now we have unlocked the feature. So more interviews will be loading, and I'm guessing that in coming new year, most of the artists from Jill Khan's production will be featuring on this show as a video interview exclusive with them, sharing their stories, their journeys, everything will be happening. So more video will be coming up on Spotify video exclusive for Create Your Ears in podcast. I'm Ajay Tambe. Now you're seeing me on face on Spotify. So that's the thing, I guess, because most of the time podcasters don't, and I was not in that mood of sharing video because I had tens and thousands of things back this podcast building it up from last 2.5 years. So yeah, that was the thing, but now we got the thing, so I'm just using the opportunity to showcase as many things as possible. So thank you very much, Jill, for your valuable time. She'll be coming back, and we'll be having her, like, she's the team now, she's the team of Create Your Use in podcast. So this is going to happen lots of time. That's why we just named it as a catch up interview. So when we say catch up, it's like we are going to catch up a lot of times. So that's the thing. So yeah. Okay. So thank you, Jill. Thank you for valuable time. Uh, to all the listeners, keep listening to Your Ears in podcast. Make sure you subscribe, follow whichever platform you're listening. Thank you, and keep listening all the audio dramas you love. This is Aisha Trilogy. Then there's Sindbad, there's Arabian Nights, there's Sherlock Holmes. There's a lot of English Hindi drama mix kind of thing. Thank you so much. Take care, stay tuned, stay safe.